Hi all, Eric here. Have you ever been really excited to take on something new? Maybe something on your list you've been meaning to get to? Perhaps it was signing up for that gym membership so you could work out and get in shape finally. Only after a while you realized you're not really working out and all you actually have is a membership card sitting in your wallet. Or maybe you decided this is the year I'm going to be really productive. I'm going to equip myself with the latest and greatest gadgetry, except what you're left with was just the gadgets and you didn't feel any more productive. Perhaps you said, you know what, I'm gonna motivate myself to make sure that I go running every day and get those great pair of sneakers and start taking care of myself that way. Only at the end of the day, you just had a pair of sneakers. I think one of the main issues might be the difference between what I call having it and doing it. If you only have something, but you're not doing it, the circuit doesn't connect. But the moment you have it and you do it, well now, things start to light up. So let's complete the circuit in this edition of TvT episode number 6, Have It versus Do It. I'm after setting NēXTpectations in life, finance, career, and business to help people get unstuck and get ahead. If that sounds good to you, make sure you subscribe to get alerted of future videos like this. Today, what I want to do is light up life, career, and business in the distinction of have it versus do it. Here's an example to illustrate the point. Earlier this year, I did a webinar that reached thousands of business leaders across the country. And after the webinar was over, I received an email from the CEO of a multinational association. And in the email, she said, great presentation, lots of feedback from so many who attended. And they said the visual presentation of it was stunning. And now I want to know, what platform did you use to do that? And I think much to her disappointment, I said, I used PowerPoint and we did a web meeting. And I think she was surprised because in her head, it must have been the platform, the thing that I had that was doing it, as opposed to what it is I knew how to do with it. This example really underscores the point that if we don't keep clear the difference between having something like what platform did you use and doing something or know how to do something with it, we're going to always be chasing the wrong thing when actually what we need to be chasing is over here. There are many categories in the habits. Some of the most common ones I come across might be, say, gadgets or hardware. Perhaps what it is the latest and greatest app or software. Maybe what you have is you have good ideas. Perhaps your team has a lot of talent. Those are all in the habits, but by themselves, they're like one hand clapping. They don't complete the circuit. In order to get two hands clapping, we need to have the do-its. And some of the major categories in the do-its would be pure knowledge. You may just have to learn. Perhaps it's the practical capability to perform it like a skill. Maybe it's designing a practice, a set of operations where you know you can continue to do it over and over and over again for yourself or as a team. And sometimes when talking about teams, perhaps it's going to be that you have to do it with coordination and others. If you have both of these, the have-its and the do-its, now the circuit connects. Look, I know this may sound really obvious as I say it, but the reality is it's invisible to so many people. For example, I take notes when I'm at conferences or at meetings, and sometimes people will look over my shoulder and they'll see my notes, which look something like this. And they'll say to me, well, what are you using to do that? And I'll usually try to explain to them, well, it's not just what I use, but there's a certain ability that I have, and I notice that their eyes glaze over, and they don't want to hear this part. So I've learned to stop doing that. Instead, I go, oh, I just have an iPad and I have an Apple Pencil and I have this $6 app. And they go, well, thank you. And they go off and they buy it. And then I'll see those same people maybe at a conference or the next meeting, and they'll come up to me and they'll go, I have all the same stuff you said, but my notes don't look like that. What font are you using over there? And I'll say, that's not a font, that's my handwriting. And they don't understand that I have a certain knowledge, a certain skill that for over 20 some odd years I've been sketching a certain way, and I have a certain talent that I've developed in doing that because of using that talent and producing the skill. And so this stuff is invisible to people. And if you get really good at knowing the difference between the two, you won't get suckered into just getting the habits. You'll also look into investing in the do-its as well. In order to be really effective in connecting the habits with the do-its, I find it's important to do some matching. And when I think of matching, I think just like socks. If you're going to match this up nicely, the first thing I like to match up is know thyself. Know you, know your teams, and know what you're about. The second thing that I find it helpful to match to is know the situation you're in. And if you've got both of those, you can potentially get a good match. Let me start with a few personal examples. If you know yourself well, and you know, for example, you tend to be motivated at something at first and then it fizzles out at the end, then what you don't want to do is put yourself in the situation where maybe you're following all the trends and the latest and greatest gizmos, gadgets, and things that people do because those trends go away and you tend to fizzle out. that's a mismatch. Looking at it another way, if you know you need motivation, then maybe the better match is if you're that type of person, that whatever situation you put yourself in, maybe consider putting yourself in a situation where you're going to work with others to do it so they can help keep you motivated, and that's a good situation that matches who you are. So for example, if you wanted to take up jogging, maybe you don't go jogging alone. Maybe you get a jogging buddy so that they can help keep you motivated as you go. If, for example, you know yourself to be a procrastinator, then the situation to put yourself in isn't wait till the very end of the day to take on this new thing when you're totally exhausted. Perhaps what makes more sense if you know you're a procrastinator is to instead take on new practices for how to do things first thing in the day so you get them out of the way and you have no reason to avoid them later. You can do it in reverse too. You can start with the situation and work backwards to what makes sense for you. So for example, let's say you've got small children at home and you decide, hey, you know what? I want to learn something new. I want to start studying something that I want to increase my skill at. Well then, setting up a study time at night when everybody wants to say play and have dinner and interact together, that might be a bad fit for you. The important part is to be really honest with yourself. Know yourself well enough to say, hey, I'm a night owl. So then putting yourself in a situation where, let's say, I'm going to study first thing in the morning before anyone wakes up, that might be a mismatch. How about with your teams and in business? Let's say the situation is you're quickly approaching the end of the year and you're already over budget. Maybe that's not the time to introduce a brand new initiative that's going to stress everybody out. Or maybe you know that your situation is you've already used the budget for new initiatives for the year, and so you're going to wait until the beginning of the year before you ask your teams to do a new project. And since most people can't tell the difference between the have-its and the do-its, I find most people start with the have-its and try to work forward from there. If I just had that membership to the gym, or I had those cute new shoes, or if I had the latest gadgets, then I could start doing it. Start going to the gym, start running, or start being more productive than ever. Except the reality is, if you don't know how, or you didn't create the space, the practice, the time, in order to make it sustainable for you to actually start doing it, then a lot of people just don't do it. And when they don't do it, what ends up happening is all of the do-it stuff disappears and all they have is a bunch of stuff they spent money on. I'd love to save you a lot of money and not have that happen. What happens if you try auditioning the do-its first? No, I don't mean sneak into the gym without a membership. I mean set up an exercise routine that you can do at home for a little bit and just prove to yourself you'll wake up on time if you do it in the mornings, or you'll find the energy at the end of a long day to actually do it on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always upgrade later to the right machines by getting a gym membership, but just set up the practices first. Same, for example, if you wanted to go running. Start running. I mean, obviously you can't do it in high heels or penny loafers, but if you got a pair of tennis shoes and you can do some light running, set the time to do it regularly and prove to yourself you're really going to stick with it. Or find that running buddy in advance and go out together a few times. Especially when it comes to productivity, I've learned this one the hard way myself. I had a notes app on my system for over 3 years with almost no notes in it, until eventually I went and said, you know what, I'm going to go learn some skills for how to be productive with this particular app. Now I have over 8,500 notes in it, but it's because I did the do it part first. What do I need to know? What skill do I need to build? What practice do I need to be in order to do well with it? Then you can build the habits after. Then go get the right equipment to be even better at it, because you proved you're going to do it with the stuff you already have. This is going to be much more effective for a lot of people. And so reverse it, and let's set NēXTpectations by doing it first and having it after we've proven that we have what it takes to do it. And that's the power of knowing the difference between having it and the ever invisible doing it. Put them together to complete the circuit to be really effective. Try it on. Let me know in the comments below how it went for you. Feel free to like and share, and if you want to be alerted to more videos like this, just hit subscribe. Until next time, set NēXTpectations. Yes, I knew.